Alright, time for another Ruminations video, and, happy belated Bonfire night, Guy Fawkes night, whichever you prefer. I was going to do this yesterday, but I was just I was knackered, I was swamped. Appointment stuff, the odd work thing, just all the rest of it. What boy with the details, but this kind of came up as like a bit of an idea thing based on two people who were against, the establishment, and how this relates to Guy Fawkes night is basically I was looking over Guy Fawkes and Oliver Cromwell and see if people had the opinion that they probably would have worked together, and it's a bit like it gets a bit not conflicted, but sort of complicated in the terms due to the fact that they both were raised in different, say, branches of Christianity. Fawkes was a Roman Catholic, at least Catholic or Roman Catholic. There is a difference, obviously. Any of the people who study like religious education or are actually Catholics, you're welcome to comment and tell me about the difference, and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm a dumb, kind of flimsy agnostic. Cromwell was a Puritan. Yeah, people after his time and his son's time, Puritans kind of got demonized, and it wasn't helped by, like the Witchfinder General, which is the subject of a fun facts episode I did quite a while back. Same week that I talked about Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas's dad, his real name, and so on and so forth. And I'm gonna for those of you that haven't come across the playlist, I'll put the playlist in there, but I'll specifically put those two videos in there as a reference. So, and nobody steal this idea. I think it's kind of based on a what if, but kind of, very much kind of mystical thing. I think basically the English Civil War stuff, or leading up to the English Civil War stuff, it's sort of boring, and it doesn't have to be. And what I mean by that is, it's basically just kind of the same stuff, apart from maybe the Hammer House of Horror film, Witchfinder General. Vincent Price playing the oldest 25-year-old in existence, even for that time, even for like whenever it was, 1606 or whatever time it was. And then there was that. What was it called now? There's kind of a bit of a difference. There's like at least three media depictions of the English Civil War, but actually not happening in the battles, if that makes any sense. There's the Witchfinder General. There's that film that I think it might have been Shane Meadows that did that one. The same guy did This Is England, all of those, and Dead Man's Shoes, which eventually kind of cemented Paddy Considine as a direct occasional director every now and again, for the Tyrannosaur and Journeyman, with where Jodie Whittaker is his wife, 13th Doctor basically, who was also who was also in an episode of Doctor Who called The Witchfinders, where it was Alan Cumming as James the First of England / Scotland, of course, during the very real life witch paranoia executions in Pendle Hill, Lancashire. And then the other ones with John Sim, who was another Doctor Who actor. Almost coincidentally, as I mentioned that, with Whittaker being an incarnation of the Doctor, John Sim was obviously an incarnation of the Master, for any Doctor Who fans out there, right after Derek Jacobi, who wasn't around long enough, but he is in the Big Finish, and I've listened to a few of those, and so far he is actually my favourite version of the Master. He's the War Master to the War Doctor, to John Hurt's War Doctor, who was voiced later on by an impressionist who did an impression of the 10th Doctor, and so on and so forth, and filled in for John Hurt because he died during and after all the big Finish Time War kind of productions. The War Master's really, it's where he shines in the audios in the Big Finish. But getting back on it, John Sim was in they're all quite hard to watch. Obviously, it's apart from the Shane Meadows, I think, one where it's meant to be kind of darkly funny. There's like drug trips and religious hysteria and all that kind of stuff. But he was in a film called The Devil's Whore, which it was like a conflict from what little I saw of it. I was over at a mate's house and I saw a bit of it, and he was like a conflicted Puritan, over this woman. Not sure if he was actually like a soldier, like a Roundhead or whatever, but this idea for a kind of a book involves, because Guy Fawkes would have been dead around for quite a few, at least few decades by the time, 50, 60 years maybe. 60 years. When did Cheeky Charlie, the Merry Monarch, his dad buys it? About 1660 or something like that. So it would have been about 54 years, and with all the witch stuff. So I was thinking, I haven't really come up with a title yet, but let's say that on his rise as the Lord Protector, and during afterwards, kind of into the end, when things are getting a bit too hot in the kitchen for him, he consults some kind of term, or maybe like witches who were kind of involved or helped influence and so on the the gunpowder plot, and Cromwell borrows a book from them or a spell or consults their help, and he maybe I've already spoiled it, but he summons some kind of revenant kind of army or whatever in limbo. Kind of, no, not kind of like, no. I was going to compare it to Capitan Salazar, played brilliantly by Javier Bardem in Dead Men Tell No Tales, or if you're from my neck of the woods, kind of disappointingly called Salazar Revenge. It kind of takes the oomph out of the the bogeyman that's hunting Jack and his friends for 40 plus years. Let's say that connected to the witches and the gunpowder plot decades before, that Cromwell has this kind of mercenary anarchist kind of backup tool, and on the side in case things go tits up, and they kind of did eventually. I mean, he wasn't killed horribly or anything like that, but eventually he basically he didn't get he didn't his aspirations and his goals, I don't think, really went beyond him just being in charge, being the Lord Protector, and then his son became that, and he was he had none of the charisma and affability of his dad. But yeah, it's just a bit of a idea that's been swimming in the dark reaches of my intellect. To paraphrase Dr. Neocortex and Crash to Insanity, it's not quite a whale of a book idea, but it's so far it's it's basically a let's do like a nerdy kind of biology kind of comparison, and I love prehistory too. So far it's a ambulocetus of an idea for a historical based novel, but basically part of the potential discussion is, if I'm not rambling too much, and I kind of do that anyway, is that if Guy Fawkes somehow were around during the whole Barney between Cromwell and the Stuarts, would he have basically worked out some kind of deal or offer of assistance of Cromwell? Catesby might have been taken along for the ride too, but who knows? Robert Catesby. He was apparently the one that planned most of it out and had the most passion. Where there's Guy Fawkes is supposed to be basically a mercenary terrorist, kind of fixer type, and as he was like a naval mercenary for a lot of years before the gunpowder plot, even working for the Spanish Navy as a mercenary, where he got the name Guido, and that's an idea I have in a Word document I did. Where it accounts Guy Fawkes' time working for the Spanish, but that can be added to the description, if I can somehow get that Word document as a share. Maybe I can do it with or without the link sharing app, but who knows. Anyway, so kind of the question I'm putting to you is, despite their differing branches and attitudes due to different, I guess, types or sub-whatevers of Christianity, would Oliver Cromwell have teamed up with Fawkes and his cronies? So that concludes this Ruminations episode, which was originally going to be a Guy Fawkes night, Bonfire night, whatever, one, but, you know, and, you know, by the time some of you see this, it'll be well past then, so, anyway, this is History Boy signing off, and I'm off to enjoy the rest of my soak.